Hi, in this video, I'm going to be setting up my newly installed Ubuntu 24.04.3 LTS from scratch. My name is Enoch Maseru, and I've been working with Linux operating systems for about 20 years now, and specifically Ubuntu. I've done previous videos concerning how to set up Ubuntu 25.04. The process is similar, but there are a few differences if you're setting up the LTS version vis-a-vis the bleeding edge version 25.04 as of today. This will be guiding you on how to set it up. Now we'll begin first of all with the moment you've installed your Ubuntu. Now the previous videos that we did went over the whole process up to this moment. So how to download the ISO, burn it to a USB stick to ensure it is bootable. And then I also did a video about how to go ahead and install it. You can be able to catch those ones. And then once you've installed it, it guides you through the process. The moment you boot into your newly installed system, then this is what you're going to find. So first of all, you'll have the welcome screen, and then we will just proceed. So I'm going to do this in two parts. The very initial steps you need to do, and then once we've installed the updates, we'll need to restart. Then after we restart, I'll pick it up from there. So this particular video is going to be in two parts, similar to the one that I did for 25.04. So here is one of the key differences when you're setting up the LTS version. You have the Ubuntu Pro feature or service, and I like to enable this. It's free, but what it does is that it really helps with the updates. And so I'm actually just going to go ahead and open my browser. The instructions are given here. Okay, so you can enable Ubuntu Pro or skip it. I want to enable it, and it's going to give you details here for how to enable it. So you'll need to go ahead and go to this particular URL, ubuntu.com/pro/attach. Okay, and if you don't have an Ubuntu account, you'll need to create one. I think I have one already. So first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and set myself up with the necessary accounts. So I go over this particular process in my 25.04 video, so I'm not going to go into the details. So I'll actually just pause, set this up, and then we can proceed from here. Okay, so I am signed into my Gmail. The other thing that I am going to do is to sign into my Firefox account. So when you install Linux and specifically Ubuntu, the browser you get out of the box is Firefox. And so I like to have a Firefox account just to be able to ensure that whenever I'm setting up on a new machine, I can get my history, bookmarks, and extensions and passwords as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this up. So again, this is a process we went over when I was doing the video for 25.04. And so I'm just going to go ahead and pause and then sign in. Okay, so I've logged into my Gmail account. Okay, I have also logged into my Firefox account and set up my two-factor authentication. Always important from a security standpoint to be able to do that. And I think now we can actually go ahead, and I'm not sure I have an Ubuntu One account. I think I do, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in my email. And most likely if I do, my browser should remember the password. If not, I'll just create it. So I'll put in my account. Okay, let's say I have an Ubuntu One. I don't remember. Okay, let's try I don't have an account. So I'll put in my name. I'll put in my username. I suspect this username is already taken. I will not use that password since it is now visible. I think I'll just go ahead and use a different account. Not create account. Let's load that page again. Okay, so I will use another email where I know I have an account. Then I will put in my password. There we go. So it logs me in. So if you don't have an Ubuntu One account, just go ahead and create one. I like my windows clean and minimalist. And then now here is where you're going to enter this code that has been provided here. Okay. So that's F8K3M9. Okay, let's try another code. Okay, that one has expired. So let me just go ahead and put in another code and then I can continue from here. Okay, so the moment you enter the code, it will tell you that it has successfully attached to the machine. And then over on your the welcome window, it will tell you that the token is valid. And then from here, we'll go to the next page. And if you want to know more about Ubuntu Pro, just go ahead and go to Ubuntu's website. And here you'll be able to learn everything you need about Ubuntu Pro. It's an additional service that they provide. So if you know, for enterprises, companies, institutions that want additional support, they can be able to get that support from Canonical, the company that owns Ubuntu. And then, but there's also a free functionality that's available. And so that's the personal plan that I usually take advantage of, and that's what we've attached here. But you can go ahead and learn more about Ubuntu Pro from their website, and then we can proceed. So, okay. So once that one is done, then you'll get the confirmation message here, and you'll be able to see an icon here on your menu bar. Okay, this shield here. So this shows you that the live patch is now on. Okay, and it just helps when it comes to the security updates on your Ubuntu machine. And so now from here, you can be able to see that your Ubuntu Pro free personal subscription is active. You can see the services that have been enabled. You get expanded security maintenance and Canonical's kernel live patch service. Then the other services that are available are also shown here. Then let's just proceed. And here you can go ahead and share the data if you want or not, and then finish. So that's the first thing that you want to do, just to be able to make sure that the welcome screen is done. Helps you to make sure that you have your Ubuntu Pro subscription if it's something that you want to enable. Then the second thing that you can do is that I'll actually now close my browser because I want to install the updates that are available. So usually there will be updates that will be here. So I'll actually just go ahead and search for the software updater, and I'll also pin this to the dash. And there are a few other things that I will need to also pin to the dash. I want to have my terminal pinned as well. So I'll pin this to dash and then we'll go ahead and run it. Okay, so we have the software updater here. It will tell you the size of updates to be installed, and then we will install that. So that's also important to do. Let's give it a few minutes to finish with the updater. Okay, so the update is done. I'm going to jump into the settings, And here you'll be able to confirm a few things as far as the update is concerned. So the sources are there, any other software is here. It's good to just understand somewhere where these sources are, because as you go along and you install additional packages and software, there will be more that will be updated here. So it's good to acquaint yourself with the default just to be able to know how to reset a few things here and there as you go along. So here with the Ubuntu Pro subscription that we've enabled, once that is successfully enabled, then you'll be able to see all this updated. And again, the icon here, like we mentioned, will be there. So as far as the software updater is concerned, this one is done. Go ahead and run this on a regular basis. I usually do it every day just to keep my desktop updated with the latest security updates and patches. So I'd highly encourage you to be able to run this on a regular basis. Then secondly, the other thing that you want to do is to update the software that you have. So I'm going to use this App Center here. And we'll come here and manage the software. So here you see some softwares that are available for updates. Again, you want to update all of these. Okay. So that again will also take a few minutes to update. Okay. So the softwares have been updated, so we are good here. I think at this point, I would want to just show one more thing as far as updates are concerned. When it comes to updating your system, you can do it through the graphical user interface, GUI, or some people say GUI. So from here, I've pinned this to the dash so it's easy to access. So that's one way. If you prefer that, you can also open up the software just like we did and update it from there. Like we did, every so often you'll find that in this manage section there might be some updates for the different softwares that you have installed, and you can update them from here. You can always check for updates as well. And additionally, in the App Center or the Software Center here, this is a good place to be able to search for different applications that you might want to install. Not all of them would be available, but you would be able to find quite a number of them. So you can search through the featured section. You can look at productivity software, development software, games, and whatnot. And so this is a good place to be able to install software. It's a trusted platform, and you can be able to do so from here. There will be some software, some packages that you would not be able to install from here. So for example, if you look for Google Chrome, you won't find it simply because it's not open source. But you will be able to find the open source version, which is Chromium, if you want to go ahead and install that. And whenever you're installing, you can always choose between the latest version or the beta version. Okay, so it's always good to go with the latest stable version if you can. It's better, but if you want to go ahead and use the bleeding edge version, it's totally fine as well. So that's just something to note. And yeah, that's done. So that's one way of updating your system. You can be able to use a graphical user interface. The other way is by using the terminal or the command line interface. So here, to be able to do the same thing that we've done with the software updater, you just run two commands: sudo apt update. You will need to go ahead and put in your password. Your passwords will not be displayed on the screen, but just type it in on your keyboard and you'll be able to install it. It's going to go ahead and search the software sources that you have available. So you'll remember these software sources when we were looking at the settings on the software updater. So the moment it refreshes your software sources, then you can run the second command, sudo apt upgrade, and it will upgrade any software that might be available for upgrade. Something that would be important would be to be keen and just take note of the output or that you get from the terminal. So for example, here you can see we've run software updates, everything is, all the packages are up to date. And then if we've now run the command to upgrade it, so it will read through the package list, look at the dependencies, calculate if there's any whatever that need to be, any software that need to be upgraded, and then it will be able to give you. Now if there's any package, now you can see this one, for example, this package was automatically installed and is no longer required. Okay, and so that's why it's telling you to run this command to remove it. So this is a useful command to be able to keep your software sources and your software packages up to date. The way that Linux works when it comes to software is that because a lot of, most if not all of the software is open source, the software that you need to install have dependencies. So these are other softwares or programs or packages that are required to be able to run the software you need. So for example, if you want to install Google Chrome would have some dependencies, some packages, some softwares that it depends on that it will need to install first, and then it can be able to run. Now, with Linux operating systems, a lot of the software and packages have similar dependencies. And the package manager, for Ubuntu's case, it uses apt, which is why we're running sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade. Apt goes ahead and manages that dependencies automatically, so that you don't have to keep on installing the same dependencies every time you're installing some software. So if Google Chrome, VLC, and another package or software have the same dependencies, if you already installed the dependencies you installed when you were installing the first program, when you come to install the second one, then it will simply scan your system, and it will see that some of the dependencies have already been installed or are already in place, and it will not re-download them. So it keeps your system it's efficient. The package manager is efficient. Your software sources remain efficient. And so over time, when you also upgrade the packages, some dependencies that were previously required by the previous version of your software may no longer be necessary, and so would have to be removed. And so this is what is happening in this particular case. So with the upgrades that we've done through the software updater, there's some packages or dependencies that are no longer necessary, and so it's going to ask to remove this. So we just run this command, sudo apt auto remove. The keyboard shortcut is Control-Shift-C, Control-Shift-V to be able to remove them. So to be able to copy and to paste. So just something again also to take note of. Not Control-C and Control-V, but Control-Shift-V and Control-Shift-C. So we'll go ahead and do that. And usually whenever you're installing, again, if you're totally new to Ubuntu or Linux operating system, as you're updating, you'll see that there will be instances where you will need to respond. So it will be asking whether you want to continue. And one of the things to note here is you can see that you have the options of Y or N, yes or no. You can see the Y is capital, meaning that if you press Enter on your keyboard, automatically you've selected yes. So just take note of that whenever you see this. If it's asking, it has checked on this, and this operation will require this amount of disk space, or rather, no, this amount of disk space will be freed. Do you want to continue removing or uninstalling it? Since the Y is capital, if you simply press Enter on your keyboard, you will have selected yes. If you want to select no, you would actually have to type in the letter N, and then it will complete that. So we are done. So if you want to check on any updates or any keep your system up to date, you can either use the GUI or you can use the command line interface, CLI, whichever it is that you prefer. So sudo apt upgrade, sudo apt update, sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade, and then you're good to go. And you can always, if you're on the command line interface, you can press up or down on your keyboard, the arrow key, left, right, up, down. You can actually press up, and you will cycle through your previous commands that you had typed in. So we had typed in, you can see these are the commands we had typed in. If I press down, it will go from sudo apt update, then we typed in sudo apt upgrade, then we typed in sudo apt auto remove, and that's where we are. So I can actually just go back to sudo apt update, and then I can go up again to sudo apt upgrade, and now you can see everything is okay. 0 upgraded, 0 newly installed, 0 to remove, and 0 not upgraded. So we are good. And I can go ahead and just type in exit, and I'll be done. So there we have it. As far as updating your system, that would be the process. Again, I've taken a little bit longer and gone into details because I'm running version 24, Control Alt T, just to be able to show the version I'm running, lsb underscore release minus a. Yeah. So here I'm using the LTS version, Ubuntu 24.04.3 LTS, long-term support version. The release is 24.04. The code name is Noble Numbat. So that's that. The next thing that I usually do whenever it comes to setting up my newly installed Linux operating system is just to go ahead and customize some of the menus and the settings. There's some applications on the dock here that I never use. So I never use Thunderbird. I usually unpin it. I don't use Rhythmbox. I unpin it. Also don't use LibreOffice that much. I unpin it. I will install probably OpenOffice or something else. But I will update LibreOffice to the latest version just to be on the latest. I don't need this, but this is useful for somebody. The help one is useful for somebody who's new to Linux or Ubuntu. I would recommend having a look at it. If you want to be able to understand how to navigate around your new desktop, that would be useful. I will unpin it. I don't need it. And there we have it. Then the other thing that I usually do is to go through the settings. So on the top right hand corner here we have some of the quick launch action items available here. A lot of them are self-explanatory, so I won't really go into them. But I'll jump into the settings and just go through my normal setup. Let me maximize this. Okay. For the Wi-Fi, I've already added my Wi-Fi. Networks, nothing to do here. For the Bluetooth, I've already connected my mouse. Nothing to do on the displays here. For the sound, it's fine. I've already set it up. On the power, I like to have this as balanced is fine. And then I like to show the battery percentage. Then go to multitasking. I don't usually do much here. For the appearance, here's where I choose the theme for my desktop. I usually prefer either Viridian or Prussian green. I think, let's see how Viridian looks. This green here. Let's have a look at Prussian green. I think I prefer Prussian green. Okay. Then for the desktop background, you can choose whichever one you like. Okay. These are just the default images that are available. I like to go with this option here that has a timer on the bottom left. What it does is that it cycles through these different wallpapers as I continue to use my system. So that's the option I usually prefer here under appearance. For Ubuntu desktop, not much to do here. Apps, nothing to do here. Notifications, nothing. Search, nothing. Online accounts. Okay, so this is useful. So this allows you to be able to log into your cloud accounts and be able to work, on the cloud. So if you're using Google, you can go ahead and use Google Drive. And for Microsoft, you can also use that as well. I like to sign in and connect my accounts here. So the moment you sign in, it will open up the browser and get you logged in. So let's just open my Firefox. Okay. Then let's go ahead and sign in. I think I need to restart. It's not. Yeah, I need to restart this. So I'll handle the online accounts after I have restarted. Usually the moment you install the initial updates, you need to restart it. So we'll come back to this after in part 2 of this particular setup video. Sharing, not much to do here, nothing here, nothing on the keyboard. Color, printers, accessibility, price, privacy and security. Connectivity, no, nothing. Screen lock, no, nothing. Location, I like to enable location. The others are fine. And then finally, under system, I usually change my regional format from United States to United Kingdom. I like the date to be date, month, year. So if you want to be able to change that, use metric measurements, then you can be able to change your regional format from here. The language is okay, that can remain English US. Then I'll go back, and for date time, I like to use automatic time zone. 24 o'clock system is fine, and that's it. Okay, maybe have the weekday and the week numbers as well. And then for users, nothing much there. Okay, so we are good to go. I think at this point I just need to now restart my system, and then we can continue with part 2 in terms of how I usually get my Ubuntu 24.04 setup after installing it from scratch. See you in the next video.